done it. The most powerful Laravel features ever. Too powerful. I only ever use a laptop once. Keeps the code clean.
Bruce rose from the water, laptop in his hand. Laravel's new features, here's the command. He leapt right in, making waves in his field. Optimizing websites, his clients were thrilled. But Bruce sought more, a desire to learn. So he went to Laracon for knowledge to earn. He found devs across the globe, and together they grew. With their powers combined, there was nothing they couldn't do. I know it sounds made up, it sounds untrue, but this is exactly how Laracon was founded, I promise you. Collaborating with the finest, Bruce took the lead. They took on the pandemic and cured the disease. The devs fought the climate, brought the crisis to an end. The planet breathed easy, on the devs it could depend. The president shook his hand, cross-sized his ratings too. Almost as big as mine, but that would be fake news. He graced Times cover, the world at his feet. Wherever Bruce went, crowds filled the streets. With ego on the rise, Bruce took all the praise, thinking every other dev was just riding his waves. He shut others out, said I've learned all I can. Forgetting his strength grew when working hand in hand. And then out of the blue, a CrowdStrike update, and with a misguided move, Bruce sealed his fate.
All washed up, the headlines cried. Bruce had lost the waves he'd once supplied. No one to turn to, so he turned to the booze. But being an elephant, in gallons wouldn't do.
Once a coding icon, now adrift in a sea of mediocrity. Did Bruce ever really know what he was doing?
He tried other frameworks, but none felt right. Without Laravel's secret tools, Bruce lost the will to fight. Bruce lost the will to fight. But everywhere he went, a whisper he couldn't shake. A debugged up would appear, saying it wasn't too late. Too late. It's the community's wisdom that makes a dev great. That's what gave you power, not just some new features made. But just some new features made.
It hit Bruce so hard, he knew what he must do. He created an event to uplift and improve. He gathered developers, sharing skills and ideas, empowering each other by working with peers. From the US to India, then on to Europe's shore, Bruce traveled the globe, connecting devs galore. He shared his big vision, inviting them to unite, to share skills at conventions and take everyone to new heights. I know it sounds made up, it sounds untrue, but this is exactly how Laracon was founded, I promise you. Bruce and his crew made waves far and wide, launching Laracon where code and passion collide. Now years of conventions have sharpened their powers, and they're hungry for more, so they're joining ours. They're back in Australia to make waves even bigger. 2 days of excitement with speakers that deliver. So let's get this started, let's make waves together. Welcome to Australia, the best Laracon ever.
Do up a do up shoo be do be do up a do up a do up shoo be do be do up a do up a do up shoo be do be do. She give me catching all night long.
Good morning. Oh, it's coming. I promise. You'll know, the second that... Welcome back, everyone. It's a lie, it says it works. What is happening? Hello? Curtis, help me. I'm flailing out here. I pushed. Yeah. Is this a thing? Oh no, what's up there is not what's on my screen. Yeah, I'll just turn it around. We did a check yesterday to make sure this didn't happen. There we go, colors, hang on. Okay, all right. Please, all right. Talk about dramatic effect. This is what? Fuck. All right. Hands up, Tim Tam. Hands up, Mint Slice. Sorry. Welcome back to Laracon Australia. Who is here for the 4th time? Who's done them all? Who's done 3? All right, good. 2? Hey, 2-timers. 1. All right, everyone who's been here once, keep your hand up. Those of you that have been here 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, these are the people you need to make friends with. At least as many for each time that you've come to Laracon. Please, make them feel welcome. Why do we as a community come together each year for a Laracon? I think that the most important thing about being together is the shared experience that is more than just the talks or the product launches, which we can honestly do online. We don't even need a video call for it. We can just publish a blog post. But when we gather, we're looking for something more. We're looking to establish or re-establish connection with our peers, and we want to see what people have been up to since the last Laracon. We want to share the projects that we've built. We want to hear what our friend's new role is. How many of you changed jobs in the last 12 months? Conversation pieces for everyone. But importantly, we're here to recharge our human batteries, which is something that an online meeting just can't do. And is really good at doing the opposite. Like, we remember 2020, 21, like all of those Zoom meetings was no good for anyone. But this year, in a bigger theatre with a bigger foyer, I wanted everyone to have not only the time, but also the space to discuss the ideas that come from this stage and the people on it. The unofficial theme of last year's event was this idea of ripples, and how putting ourselves out there, we increased our chances of good and unexpected things coming our way. How many of you have put yourself out there in the last 12 months? And of those people, keep your hand up if good unexpected things came your way as a result. The system works. Aaron Francis has taught us that. I'm going to talk a little bit about James Clear. Does everyone know who James Clear is? He's the author of a book called Atomic Habits. And he's somebody who focuses on both starting and sticking to good habits, making good and avoiding bad choices, accomplishing more with less time, creating systems and processes, and achieving meaningful results without overwhelming yourself. And he doesn't necessarily come up with these ideas, but he certainly dives deep on the topics. 10 years ago in 2014, he first wrote about this idea of marginal gains. And the story goes that British cycling had been mediocre for 100 years when they hired their new coach, their performance coach, Dave Brailsford, in 2003. So since 1908, British riders had won a single gold medal at the Olympics, and they were dismal during the Tour de France. In 110 years, not a single British rider had ever won the event. To the point where the top bike manufacturers in Europe refused to sell bikes to the British team because they were worried that it would affect their sales. So Brailsford and his team kept making these incremental changes. They made them in obvious and traditional ways, like redesigning seats and rubbing alcohol on tyres to get better grip. And they had riders wear heated overshorts to help maintain their body temperature at optimal levels. But they did not stop there. They kept looking for these 1% improvements. They tried everything from different massage gels for recovery. They hired a surgeon that taught riders how to wash their hands properly to minimize the risk of catching a cold, which we are all really, really good at now. They figured out what pillows and mattresses to give their riders for optimal sleep. They went so far as to paint the inside of the team's truck white so that they could pick out little bits of dust that would otherwise go unnoticed, which could degrade the performance of otherwise highly tuned bikes. Now, this is all sounding a bit like Steve Jobs when he talked about paying attention to details, to not use a piece of cheap plywood for the back of a beautiful chest of drawers just because it's going to face a wall that no one's ever going to see. To focus a little bit here on Taylor Otwell, who's in the audience, 7 years ago he wrote about his time mowing lawns at his local church, and he talked about the day that his grandfather had him wash the underside of the mower before he put it away. Taylor said, with Laravel, my job isn't done until even the underside is clean, and I've come to find enjoyment in that. And I think that we've all come to reap the benefits in that mantra, not just from the framework, but by being an extension of the framework with our own apps, with everything that is the Laravel ecosystem, first party or otherwise. But going back to Brailsford and his British cycling team, as they accumulated hundreds and hundreds of these seemingly insignificant changes, the results came faster than anyone could have anticipated. Within 5 years, the British team dominated the road and track events at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, where the British team alone won 60% of all of the medals that were available. And 4 years later in London, they went even further when they set 9 Olympic and 7 world records, and Bradley Wiggins became the first Brit to win the Tour de France in that same year. The following year, Wiggins' teammate Chris Froome won the race and won again in 2015, 16 and 17, giving the British 5 wins in 6 years. And in the 10 years between 2007 and 2017, the Brits amassed 178 world championships, 66 Olympic or Paralympic gold medals, and 5 Tour de France victories. They are widely regarded as the most successful, or that was widely regarded as the most successful run in cycling history, which is not a bad turnaround for a team that had won nothing in 100 years. And it is too easy to overestimate the importance of some big defining moment towards a goal. It's too easy to underestimate the value of making small improvements every day, because we convince ourselves that big successes require massive action. I've been on a bit of a health kick over the last little while, and it's always daunting to say, like, I want to lose 10 kilos or 20 kilos or whatever it is. And the thing that's worked for me a few times now is just to aim a little bit each week. I don't want to lose 10 kilos. I want to lose half a kilo this week. 10 kilos is down the track. Just keep seeing the little wins. And improving by 1% isn't particularly notable, and a lot of the time it's not even noticeable, but it can be far more meaningful in the long run. So if you can accumulate these 1% increments or ripples, to borrow a term from last year, eventually you find yourself being able to make waves. Make waves felt like a natural progression of last year's theme. We've put a lot of effort into it. Putting ourselves out there individually can help increase our own luck. And putting our collective selves out there as a team and as a company and as a whole community, we can really increase that luck surface area for everyone. Thanks again, or thanks for the first time, I suppose, today, to our sponsors, to Hatchet, our platinum sponsor. Some of you, I heard, were like standing in front of their media wall out there. Go and look at it. There's a bit of a Willy Wonka going about it. They're giving away an iPad tomorrow afternoon. So go and read the fine print. I promise you, you're not getting stitched up or anything. But if you want a chance to win an iPad, that's that. Shout out once again to our branding sponsor, Nucleus. I have seen Gav somewhere this morning, I think. There he is. They did the video. Chris Kellett, my friend that I used to work at Nucleus, he's been up all night for like 3 weeks straight working on that thing. So amazing job. Thank you very much. Nucleus and team, they did everything. The elephants are all their creation, all of the branding, all of the bags, the shirts, the works. If it looks like it's related to the conference, it was them. So thank you very much again, Nucleus. Thank you also to our gold sponsors, Maxo and Ventra IP. Thank you to our silver sponsors, Aussie Broadband, Trilogy Care, and Titan. To our bronze sponsors, Sentry, Laravel Idea. Adele is here somewhere. Make sure you say thank you to him if you use the Laravel Idea plugin in PHP Storm. To Responder One, to Atlas Software, who has built us an incredible app for the conference, which I'll talk a bit about shortly, to Sync.io, to Fathom Analytics, and to Figured, who are back again. They've been here since day one. We thank them for always supporting the conference. And thank you also to all of our community sponsors. Without you, none of this happens, so thank you very much. Lots of you have been taking photos already, which is fantastic. I've been to a few Laracons in my time. I follow them closely just to kind of get an idea of what we're doing here. And a common theme that I see in all of those things in the aftermath is people's lamenting the fact that they have not taken enough photos. I'm going to apologize for my pronunciation because I learnt this phrase yesterday. It's ichigo ichi, which is a Japanese idiom that loosely means that what we are experiencing right now will never happen again. So value each moment like it is a beautiful treasure. So we've got the app. If you haven't already installed the app, if you haven't enrolled in the game, this is not just an app for the sake of an app. A big focus for us this year has been on enabling networking between attendees as much as possible. The app is going to be at the center of that this year. We're also doing all of our talk Q&A through the app. So if you have questions, you can submit there, we can upvote, we can downvote, you can do it anonymously if you want to. But take photos. This is very important. You'll get 5 points for a photo that you take with everyone. You'll get 15 points if you take a photo with a speaker. You get 30 points for community pillars. Marcel knew about this. Rissa's a community pillar. She's finding out for the first time. So if you get a photo with Rissa, and all of the Laravel team that are here, you will get 30 points. Make sure you have conversations with these people. There are some new Laravel people here that have not yet been announced, so you will have conversations with them and you'll find out that they now work at Laravel. And for every sponsor's representative that you speak with, you'll get 50 points for the sponsor and 5 points for each. This is a lot. It's all in the app. Everybody in the photo will get points for appearing in the photo. If the person later enrolls in the app, the points will be applied retroactively. Speakers, you cannot win any prizes. Sponsors, you cannot win any prizes. Community pillars, you cannot win any prizes. People related to me, either by blood or marriage, are ineligible to win. My co-workers are ineligible to win. Take photos. Why? We're not incentivizing drive-by selfies. Like, don't just walk past someone and just take a photo and run off. What we would love to see is people creating lasting memories, this notion of ichigo ichi, right? The people that you're already having conversations with, capture those moments. You're going to start conversations with people you might not have otherwise. And that number of friends that I said you should make with the first-time attendees, take photos with them. What we are experiencing right now will never happen again. So photos are a pretty good way to remember that happening. I said there's going to be points. After all the photos are taken and the points are tallied, there will be a prize. It is this year's grand prize, if you will. It's pretty good. And I'll tell you a little bit about it later, if we don't see that you're incentivized taking photos enough as it is now. Talk with the speakers. Don't be afraid to talk with them. Some of the speakers before their talks will probably be hidden away, practicing and panicking and whatever else you go through. Most of them have, at one time or another, been conference attendees just like you, right? They just happen to submit to speak on stage. Some of this year's speakers are barely 12 months removed from being attendees at this conference themselves. I'm going to wrap up really quickly. Who went to the watering hole last night? Is that right? It was good? All right, good. We're doing it again on Friday night at the same venue. So that'll be after high tide. Tonight, after dark, is 7:30 till 10:30 at Strike and Holy Moly Winter Garden. We've got food, we've got drinks, entertainment, bowling, laser tag. Actually, laser tag this year, escape rooms, karaoke, mini golf, all there. Tomorrow night, next door in Y Block, right after the conference finishes, head up to room 360. The food and drinks will also be on us. The view up there is incredible. You're going to love it. House rules. For those of you who were here last year, you'll remember these. There is just 3 really important rules. These are very straightforward. Number 1, no trash talking other communities. There's a lot of stuff happening in the broader PHP community at the moment. Just leave it alone. Do not assume anyone in this room is not a developer. Okay? We're all here because we belong. We came to Laracon because we wanted to learn. Please don't make jokes at the expense of others, okay? We have a conference code of conduct that all attendees, all sponsors, all speakers are expected to adhere to, so we have a welcoming and enjoyable experience for everyone because, if you remember this from last year, everyone is welcome, even the slightly naked-looking elephants. That's all from me.